Whoop, more in there.
And looks like we're starting to connect. And the stream is up on YouTube. We're up on YouTube. And just taking a second to get us up on Facebook.
You go, Mike.
That's not Christmas music. I just queued in. That's not Christmas music.
Sure it is.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Looks like we're up and running. I can see us coming back on YouTube and Facebook, so we'll call it we're up and running.
Sure.
All right. Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to our Sunday night offering of Astronomy Outreach, the Sunday Night Astronomy Show. First of all, I'd like to welcome back Royal Astronomical Society of Canada, NB chapter members, Mr. Paul Owen from the Moon Shadow Observatory in Hampton. Big hands, Paul.
Hey.
Hey. And RASC NB member, Mr. Mike Powell from the PFO Observatory here in St. John. Big hands, Mike.
Big hands.
Hey. Welcome back, guys. Well, tonight, folks, we have another full show planned for you. We're going to start off with another What's New in Space segment this week. And our regular Gearbox segment, again, is going to be expanded once again this week to help you make decisions on what you might be considering for Christmas for the stargazer in your family, even if that stargazer happens to be you. We'll take all your questions along the way, too, about telescopes, binoculars, stargazing, anything that you'd like to ask us questions on, books, and more, and show you some of what we think are the most practical of gifts. Paul's going to return with another one of our interesting Rosanna's Fun Fact segments, and we'll have all of your photo submissions as well to share. So sit back again, and remember, this is a family-friendly live broadcast, so if you have some questions about the night sky, we're happy to try and answer them here for you. So let's get started with a brief view of about what's new in space this week. Just looking on YouTube, not seeing too many followers there, but we do see Lisa, Alan, and Mary Ann, I believe, on Facebook. Good evening, everybody. Eves is there. Mark, hey, good evening, Mark. Cutting over to the Crew Dragon. I know, we got some competition here tonight for sure. But we were here first, right, Mike? That's what Mike says.
Actually,
that's it. Okay, so let's get started. Hey, Trudy and Robert, good evening on YouTube. Okay, let's get started with our What's New in Space this week. One of our regular segments. Good evening, Brian. And just got to get my folder open here. What's New in Space, and I got to share my desktop so everybody can see it. And you guys can let me know if it's showing up for you there.
Yes.
Should see a picture.
I do.
Hey there, okay. Well, as the icy ocean world moon Europa orbits Jupiter, it withstands a relentless pummeling of radiation. Jupiter zaps Europa's surface night and day with electrons and other particles, bathing it in high-energy radiation. But as these particles pound the moon's surface, they may also be doing something otherworldly, making Europa glow in the dark. Well, new research from scientists at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Southern California details for the first time what the glow would look like and what it could reveal about the composition of ice on Europa's surface. Different salty compounds react differently to the radiation and emit their own unique glimmer. To the naked eye, this glow would look sometimes slightly green, sometimes slightly blue, or white, with varying degrees of brightness, depending on what material it is. A moon that's visible in a dark sky may not seem unusual. We see our moon because it reflects sunlight. But Europa's glow is caused by an entirely different mechanism, the scientists said. Imagine a moon that glows continuously, even on its night side, the side facing away from the sun. If Europa weren't under this radiation, it would look the way our moon does to us, dark on the shadowed side. But because it's bombarded by the radiation from Jupiter, it glows in the dark. Now, set to launch in the mid-2020s, the mid-2020s, NASA's upcoming flagship mission Europa Clipper will observe the moon's surface in multiple flybys while orbiting Jupiter. Mission scientists are reviewing the author's findings to evaluate if a glow would be detectable by the spacecraft's science instruments. While Europa Clipper is not a life detection mission, it will conduct detailed reconnaissance of Europa and investigate whether the icy moon, with its subsurface oceans, has the capability to support life. Understanding Europa's habitability will help scientists better understand how life developed on Earth and the potential for finding life beyond our planet. Look at all the cracks in that, right? It looks like an egg, Europa.
Yeah, it does.
A dirty.
All that, yeah, dirty egg. I mean, that's all salt and other deposits being lifted up to the surface. As Europa goes around Jupiter, it expands and contracts because of Jupiter's massive gravity. So as it does, it heats up in the center, and we believe that underneath this ice is a global-sized ocean. So that Europa mission is something I think they should have done a while back, but it's kind of interesting that we are going there finally now in the mid-2020s. Well, now the Apophis asteroid might be more likely to strike Earth in 2068 than thought. David Tholen, an astronomer at the University of Hawaii, recently reported on the status of asteroid Apophis during a virtual meeting of the American Astronomical Society's Division for Planetary Sciences. During his presentation, he outlined research he and his team conducted regarding the path of the asteroid and the likelihood that it will strike Earth. The asteroid Apophis was first spotted by astronomers back in 2004. Shortly thereafter, researchers worked out its orbital path and found that the 340-meter wide asteroid would pass near to the Earth in 2029, 2036, and again in 2068. More studies showed that there was little chance of the asteroid striking Earth. Thus, it was discounted as a threat. Well, more recently, Tholen and his team noted that earlier researchers had not accounted for the Yarkovsky effect, by which rays from the sun strikes one side of an asteroid. As the heat radiates away from the asteroid, a small amount of energy pushes back against the asteroid, forcing it to turn slightly. Tholen and his team calculated that the Yarkovsky effect is pushing Apophis to one side enough to force it to drift by approximately 170 meters a year. The next applied, oops, did I skip a slide there? No, I guess I didn't. The next applied that a bit of knowledge to the math describing Apophis' orbit and found that the drift is changing the course of the asteroid in a way that will bring it closer to Earth. He notes that thus far, there is no indication that the asteroid will strike Earth in 2029 and 2036, but 2068 might be another matter. He suggests that astronomers will have to keep an eye on Apophis as the rendezvous date approaches. As news of a possible threat from Apophis arises, others have pointed out that the human race has made strides in protecting the planet from asteroid strikes. Now, NASA's DART mission, for example, scheduled for 2022, will involve sending a spacecraft to an asteroid called Didymos and using it to alter the path of Dimorphos, one of its moons. Tholen noted during his talk that the study of Apophis, when it passes by in 2029, should give scientists a much better idea of whether or not it poses an actual threat in 2068. 2068. I might not have to worry about that one, but
No.
who knows? And finally, a Bosnian man who claims he is being targeted by extraterrestrials after a series of meteorites strike on his house. Rajovic Lajic first came to international attention in 2008, shortly after the fifth meteorite had crashed into the roof of his house in northern village of Gonorji Lajiki. Okay. And now, within the past month, another rock has hit the roof of his house in defense of all odds, making it 6 strikes since the plague of meteorites began in 2007. Now, experts at Belgrade University have confirmed that all the falling rocks he has handed over were meteorites. They are now trying to work out what exactly it is about his house that particularly attracts them. The strike.
It's a mobile home.
There you go. The strike always happens when it is raining heavily, he says, never when there are clear skies. Lajic has his own explanation, of course. After the fifth rock struck his house, he says, "I am obviously being targeted by extraterrestrials. I don't know what I've done to annoy them, but there is no other explanation that makes sense. And that one makes sense, of course, yeah. The chance of being hit by a meteorite is so small that getting hit 6 times has to be deliberate. 50-year-old Lajic has had a steel girder reinforced roof put on his house to protect him from the alien bombardment, which he funded by selling one of his meteorites to a university in the Netherlands. And that's what's making news in space this week.
Well, the sky is falling.
The sky is falling.
I want
That
to know
poor
what he's
guy.
doing. I'd love to collect some meteorites.
Yeah. 6
Yeah.
of them. Imagine 6 of them hitting your house.
No, I can't.
Can't either.
Unless
Okay.
there's a meteorite museum nearby and there's a bunch of kids going through the garbage throwing rocks at his house. I
That
can't
could be
get
too. That could be too. He can maybe well in the rain too. There must if he finds kids with umbrellas walking around with umbrellas on.
Yeah.
That's what I'd say.
That's right.
Yeah, watch out
Tossing
for.
rock. Oh, my goodness.
Robert says all these worlds are yours except Europa. Attempt no landing there. Use them together. Yeah, true enough, Robert. I remember that. Bruce says hello from Charlie Lake, BC. Welcome, Bruce. And Sigourney's here, back again. Okay, so we're going to go on now with our discussion about what to look out for Christmas gifts. So each of us are going to take a turn and bring up an item. Then we're probably going to take a break for a minute to go over Paul's offering of Rosanna's Fun Facts. We'll do 3 more items, and then we'll show some photo submissions, and then we might call it an evening from there. So let's get started. I guess, Mike, do you want to start off
Sure.
with what you heard? Okay.
Well,
just talking, just a suggestion, that's all.
all right. Well, I'm going to call this Christmas gift number 1. If you're a budding astronomer and you're leaning into moving into astrophotography or something like that down the road, you have to start talking to your significant other now and tell them what you want is a guide scope, because they're going to say, well, what's that? Right? So you have to give them all the information you can. What I want to talk about is this one here. It's a 60 millimeter guide scope put out by a company called Angel Eyes. It has a sliding focuser on it, and it also has a helicoil focuser on the back for fine tuning. So you can put just about any camera on this and bring it to focus, and I've tried. I've put everything from a webcam to my ZWO 222 on here, 224 or whatever it is. And I'll tell you one thing, it's a great little guide scope. 60 millimeters of aperture, which is plenty. It comes with the rings, comes with the Teflon knobs, comes with a mini Vixen dovetail bracket on the bottom, and then I've got that hooked to a Lost Mandy to go on a regular Vixen dovetail. For anyone who doesn't know what a mini Vixen is, if you look on your scope and you got a red dot finder, that's a mini Vixen, or what they consider to be a mini Vixen mount. So this will go on anywhere that you have a red dot finder attached to a mini Vixen mount. You don't have to go ahead and add any extra parts. The cost, believe it or not, is not too awful bad. I found them both on eBay, Amazon, numerous other websites. I run about $135 to $165 shipped to you. It's a great little scope. I run it on my C8 back there in the corner. And you know, haven't had a problem with it yet. It's giving clear, crisp stars in my guide camera, and everything has been bang on, and it's a good little, for the price, it's a great little scope. I just want to quickly show you, because you might not be able to see very well here in my hand. I'm just going to throw up a screen here and show you some pictures of it online. If you can see a little clearer. Am I up and running there?
That's good, yep.
So you can see.
No, I'm not seeing it. Mike, this thing on it stopped pinning you. There we go. Now we're up. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So you can see it's a 60 millimeter. It comes with a dew shield on the end of it. Like I said, it comes with the rings. It comes with the Teflon knobs, so you don't scratch it. It has a stretch focuser and a helicoil focuser. You can see the stretch focuser back here that you can just slide in and out, and then a helicoil on the back end. It also has an M42 thread on the back end, so you can put pretty much any camera you have as long as you have the adapter. and it accepts 1.25" eyepieces in there as well. I've actually put a diagonal on it and used it as a scope. I can get that much focus with it.
Wow.
I have, when I purchased mine, right in here, you can see there's a split. I put an extra spacer in, and I bought the extra spacer with it, and it turns into a scope. But for the package for $160, I'll tell you, you won't find a nicer guide scope. And we've all gone, and used our 70 millimeter Acros that we've had for years, and 80 millimeters and 90 millimeters. And now they're getting into dedicated guide scopes, and some of them are very expensive. Some of them go all the way down to like a 40 millimeter aperture. But for the price of this one, to come with the ring set and everything with it, it's a really, really decent guide scope. And, you're not out there shooting astro images with it. You're strictly guiding with it. And I'll tell you, it works really well as a guide scope. So I just wanted to put that up there.
So that would work good as a monocular as well on the tripod, I guess, eh?
It can, yeah. Like there's all kinds of different uses for it. The views are clear. They're not bad at all. But it's not like an APO telescope by any means. But if you're looking across, put an inverted diagonal into it and it flips the image upright, then yeah, you could use it as a little spotting scope or something like that on the side if you wanted to. I bought it strictly as a guide scope and it works great. So in the price range of $150, you can't beat it.
So how's the rings? Are the rings stable?
Yeah, the rings are on there, fairly tight. They go through the bottom right here with a 1/4x20 hex head screw.
Yeah.
That holds them on there. And I'll tell you, they're nice and tight and that don't move. I can't.
Oh, that's perfect.
It's solid as a rock. And I like the Teflon I've seen them with the stainless steel screws and the Teflon nibs on them, but the nibs have a tendency to wear off after a while. With a full Teflon screw, they're not going to wear off at all. And hey, if it breaks, it's a lot cheaper to replace it.
Yeah.
But it's a 1/4x20 thread, believe it or not, for something coming out of Asia, because normally they're a Chinese thread of some sort, but these are 1/4x20. And like I said, for the value that you get for this little scope, for the price, is really, really good. It's even got baffle, down the center, believe it or not. Why you would baffle a guide scope, I have no idea. But for the price range, and you're looking for a guide scope that adding as an accessory to your camera gear and stuff like that, I think that's the way to go.
Yeah.
And you got that on eBay, you said, Mike?
I purchased mine on eBay, yeah, but they're any website you go on. When you type in now 60 millimeter guide scope, it's literally a version of that. Okay. They're all made by the same company. And of course, they have their own name stamped in them. Orion has one. It's the exact same as that. It's just got the Orion name stamped in it. So whoever the company is over there, they're making them for everybody, but they're all virtually the same. Now the prices can vary because you put Orion on it. Now it's $265. You buy the Angel and it's $135. Yeah. Not to crash, the Orion people, but you're paying for a name sometimes.
Yeah, true enough.
So the generic, it's the exact same scope, put together the same way by the same people, and you get a really good value for it.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
That was number one that I'm doing tonight.
Thanks, Mike. I'm just looking for comments or questions here. Robert said, I wonder if the Mini Vixen is what is used on the Meade LX200 finder scope mount. I'm not sure, Robert. I know mine on my Celestron CPC 1100 is not the Mini Vixen mount, but that's the shape right there. So it looks like that, Robert. That's what you've got. Thanks, Mike.
You can take the Mini Vixen off and attach it to any kind of bracket you want, really, as long as it's got 2 holes in it and long enough to bolt to it with the hex bolts. You can put anything on the bottom. You can put a full Vixen bar on the bottom of this if you wanted to.
Right. Yeah.
I just left it the way it was with the Mini Vixen and put a Lost Mandy mount to Vixen because that sits. All my scopes have a Vixen upper bar. Right. And it just fits on like that. So.
Yeah. Awesome. Alan says, what was the name of the scope again, Mike?
Angel Eyes.
Angel Eyes.
60 millimeter Angel Eyes guide scope. You can put anything on the bottom. You can put a full.
Okay.
And that's what it'll be.
Okay, let me see what else we got here. Lisa says, I'd love a recommendation for a good moon atlas moon map, please. So hang on, Lisa, we might be able to find you something. I think Orion has a nice one.
I'm just sending her one.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Paul.
Okay.
Brenda says, are we going to be able to see meteor showers in our area? Well, there is a meteor shower on right now, Brenda. It's called the Northern Taurids, and it's puts out about 10 per hour, so it's not a huge show. But we are at new moon, I believe, tonight. So that means that the moon is not going to interfere at all for the next few days. So you'll have an opportunity to see a few, possibly if you have clear skies and you're in a dark area. I did see 2 last night, actually, for a short time that I was out here in St. John. But the better showers are actually coming up in December. The Geminids, I believe it's the Geminids that come up in December. I'd have to, yeah, I believe it is Geminids, is it not, Mike? I think it is.
Yeah, I believe so.
They're around 100 per hour on a normal year. So, and I think we've got a good moon on that night as well. The moon is supposed to be right around new phase. So I would hold out, Brenda, till the one in December for the better show. Danny says, I just come in, wonder if we would be able to see SpaceX capsule tonight. Sounds like they will fly toward Ireland. Yeah, possible. I didn't follow that today, Danny.
Not with the clouds that we got here.
Not yet. Yeah, certainly not in St. John. We won't get it, but somebody may be able to pick it up. Emil says Mead has a different standard. Virtual moon atlas. Thanks, Paul. Very detailed. Appreciate that. Okay, anybody else with any comments before we move on to something else? Okay, let's head down that road, Paul. You want to head up next?
Sure.
And I'll pin you here to.
Okay. Let me know when I'm ready to rock.
You're ready to go.
All right. I just got to find my why I oughta.
You're going to bring up something. I'll unpin you if you're going to bring up something.
No, that's okay. I'll just do it with this. I won't bother going on. I'm just going to show it like this. First of all, this is the Bader Planetarium solar paper that you can make your own solar filter with. And the nice thing about this is when you buy it like this is a 11 by 8 sheet of solar paper, which means that if you have an 8-inch Schmidt-Cassegrain telescope, in other words, if the diameter of your telescope is 8 inches, whether it's Schmidt-Cassegrain or Newtonian, doesn't matter. If it's 8 inches, there's enough paper here to do that. But if you have something smaller, maybe you just have a small refractor, you can do a refractor. And then if you got a set of binoculars, you can make a couple for your binoculars too. So depending on how much space that you have to deal with, this paper actually goes quite a long way. Now, there's instructions on here as to how to use this. And also there's a link on this, which will take you to a spot on the internet, and it'll actually give you an illustration how to build a filter. And they're really, really simple. All you got to have is some tape and some cardboard and this paper, and you can make your own filter for whatever type of telescope you want to use, or binoculars or spotting scope or camera lens or whatever you want to do with it. It's really quite something else. Now, I went online today and I had a look to buy this paper.
Sorry, just a sec, Paul.
Yeah.
Open up a window there by mistake. Go ahead. Yes.
Good?
Okay. Yep. Go ahead.
So to buy this paper, typically it's about $99, which seems expensive, but when you think about what the price of filters are, it's not expensive at all. But I went to All Star Telescope, which is the good folks out in Didsbury, Alberta, and they've got this on for half price for $50. It's for $49.95. And this exact thing I'm holding in my hand is what they have. And so it's the Bader Planetarium solar paper, and it's designed to make a nice solar telescope or solar filter for your telescope. So when you have those nights that it seems to be cloudy at night but sunny all day, well, then you can go out and still do some astronomy in the daytime. And we're starting to see some sunspots coming back on the sun again. So we may be starting to slowly creep out of our solar minimum, which means we're going to start to see some activity. So this would be a great little Christmas gift to pop under somebody's astronomy gift under the tree.
It is awesome. That is an awesome gift, Paul. Thank you. Yep. It's Great to be able to make your own solar filter. You save a lot of money, and
Yep.
you can get the size that you want, the whole bit. I get okay, so I'm going to offer just, I guess, what I was going to talk about, and I guess I talk about a lot, is binoculars. And this set here from Celestron is the 10 by 50 set, Poro Prism binocular. Very simple design, very lightweight. I've offered a few of these sets before as prizes in contests. These are called 10 by 50, so 10 is the magnification on this end, and 50 is the size of the aperture on this end. These caps actually all pop off together, so you got to keep an eye on those, but it does come with a strap to set around your neck. Main focus knob in the center, diopter focus knob here on the right hand side. I got my camera backwards, so I'm not showing them up very good. 10 by 50s are 10 times magnification, 50 millimeter lens, and they're a pretty standard size. I know 7 by 50s are another good standard size. Some larger sets like the 12 by 70s are fairly big, bulky, but these are pretty comfortable to carry in your hands. Of course, binoculars are a great starting tool for astronomy. First of all, they're reasonably priced. Secondly, they give you the correct orientation of the sky. So not only can you see objects through them the way they are in the night sky, but you can also use them in the daytime as well. They're fairly portable too, so bring along a bag and away you go. You're set to go. Throw them in the car, throw them under the seat, in the trunk, whatever, and you've always got a set there to take a look at the night sky with. So even if you do have a telescope, or even if you have many telescopes, binoculars are always handy. These are great for objects like the Pleiades star cluster, which you cannot really get in a field of view of most larger telescopes. A wide field of view or wide field telescope you might. The Andromeda Galaxy is nice through this. The double cluster is nice through this. You can pick up Jupiter and its moons through binoculars. You can pick up a lot of detail on the moon itself with just binoculars. You'd be amazed at how much detail you can pick up on the moon with just binoculars. So if you can't afford a telescope, start with these and a nice star map and get out underneath the night sky and find out where things are. These are great. Pan through the Milky Way with these. You get the view of the beautiful Milky Way all through Sagittarius, up through what's that one at top, Paul? Starts with a C.
Cyborg?
Cyborg. That's it. Up through Cyborg and all the way down into Cassiopeia. But there's all kinds of stuff to see with just binoculars. I mean, all of us really started out with binoculars when we got started in the hobby, and we've all got a few sets of these, different types. Like that's the 10 by 50 Celestrons. I kind of like the other 10 by 50 Celestrons, which are these ones, which are they call them the Calvary type, and they've got the flop down kind of eyepieces, and I believe these are waterproof, and they come with a strap too with another case. These are a lot harder to find. For some reason, they're out of stock in most places for these. Even Canadian Tire used to carry them. Like you get these every once in a while for $70 at Canadian Tire. They're usually $149. Right now they're showing up on Amazon at $249. So I'm not sure if the 10 by 50s are worth that kind of money. But they are very rugged, like very well made, like lots of rubber around them, waterproof apparently. So another nice set. So these are called the Celestron Calvary. So if you can get them rather than the other size G20 Poro Prism binoculars, but either one are going to get you through an evening of night sky viewing for sure. So that's what I would suggest for a gift. Now these run around, I checked today, they were running around $52 Canadian on Amazon. And I'm not always suggesting Amazon. I'm looking at other sites too, but I just looked there to take a look today, and now they're up to $70. So this is what's happening with a lot of the astronomy equipment that we're purchasing lately. The prices are going up, and it's getting harder to find the stuff because there are a lot more people at home right now getting into the hobby because they're looking for something to do with their spare time. And there isn't as many manufacturers producing equipment now because of COVID, because there's not as many staff, at their warehouses or at their factories putting out stuff. So when you want to buy, that's why we're kind of doing this show now, mid-November. So that if you're looking at buying some stuff for Christmas, you get some time now before Christmas pops up around the corner and you're disappointed. So, but these are Celestron 10 by 50s. That's pretty well the standard size. I think we've all got a set of these tucked away somewhere. So I would suggest those for a gift for somebody who you're not ready to buy a telescope for, but they are interested in the night sky. That's what I got to say about that.
Chris,
Yeah.
Stefan Picard asked,
Who?
because
Okay.
tomorrow, Stephanie
Yep.
maybe?
Stefan?
Okay.
Stefan?
Sorry.
Okay.
Anyway, tomorrow is Cyber Monday, and do you expect bargains online for astronomy, astrophotography equipment? So while Chris was talking, I went online and I went to about 4 or 5 different sites that we would go through for the people in the astronomy world, the astronomy retailers, and I didn't find any that were specifying anything for Cyber Monday, but most of them do have specials running. So if you wanted to certainly look at their sites, you can just go on to Astro Buy Sell and then go to the very top of the banner. There's a big banner. It's the first thing you're going to see, and it's got a list of all the astronomy retailers across the country. And you just click on any one of them, and then the very first thing, they've got a list of all the things you can look through, and they'll say specials or sale or anything like that. Just click on that, and then you can have a look and see if they've got anything that that you might be looking for. What I've seen, with the last 5 or 6 retailers, nothing specifically for Cyber Monday, but there are specials. So go ahead and check them out.
So is Black Friday already occurred, or are we past that, or?
No,
I'm not
that's
sure.
coming.
So Black Friday might be an event that they might show
It's
some astronomy stuff.
yeah.
I did see a
It's
few.
really,
Say,
yes,
go ahead.
yeah. Just click on the just go to the Astro Buy Sell. They're all right there, all of one banner. Just click on whichever one you want,
Yeah.
and just keep an eye on it. It's good to keep an eye on it anyway,
Yeah.
because lots of times they've got stuff that they may have a sale for a week or something like that on something that you might be looking for. So.
Another thing is that particular site is a used astronomy site, so astronomy gear site. So we've most of the stuff I've ever purchased has been off of a site like that, because astronomers tend to look after their gear. The thing about astronomy gear is basically it's sitting in one spot all the time you're using it, and you load it back in your car. So the most abuse that something like that usually gets is from transport back and forth. So
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to buy a manual style telescope at all at any used location, because they're usually taken care of pretty good. So
Yeah.
I had pretty good luck, and you can get a good price from them. So you're not going to pay full price for a lot of that stuff. So, and a lot of these astronomy stores that Paul talks about that are at the top also have a used section on their website. So you can go into the used section and take a look at what other people are offering or have surrendered to them for consignment or whatever to sell. So, okay.
Yeah.
Let's go. Any other questions there? Are we all caught up, I think?
Well, that was one that kind of stood out to me.
Yep. I think
Even
we're all
from
good.
Charlotte, Gail. No other questions I can see.
Looks like we're all good. SpaceX launch, I don't know if it's taken place yet, but
Yep.
is it?
They're 5 minutes up.
Oh, they are. Okay.
They're at 10,000 kilometers an hour and 199 kilometers up.
Oh, that's all? 10,000 kilometers? Oh, that's nothing.
That's slow.
Yeah.
Oh,
They're supposed to be accelerating. I'm
Yeah,
sure
they're now past 11,000.
There you
that
go.
was called a space race. What's going on there?
Well, good for them.
Yes.
Not like I'm watching.
Godspeed. Yeah. Yeah, not like I'm watching.
Mikey Wonder.
Get back here, Mike. Okay, let's go to Robert says, I'm telling you, I'm on a waiting list for an EQ mount. As soon as I get notified, it's gone. Okay, let's move on to Paul can bring up his Rosanna's Fun Facts. Maybe that's be next.
Oh, okay. Let's see if I can do this.
All right,
Let's see if I have the power.
you got it.
Yes.
You can make it happen.
All right. Let's see if we can. Let's see what happens. All right. And do this. And pull this off.
Again,
Yeah.
there's the loudest clock in history.
Does
Rosanna's Fun Fact.
awesome.
Yay!
Hey.
Oh, hi, Rosanna. How are you? Good to see you again. This is another week's installment of Rosanna's Fun Facts. And this week, we're going to talk about, and I guess in keeping with the asteroid that we landed on and took a sample from, and now that we're coming back, we're going to talk a little bit more about asteroids that are in the asteroid belt. So here's what Rosanna writes to me this week. She says, there are between 1.1 and 1.9 million asteroids larger than 1 kilometer diameter in the asteroid belt. So if we use a larger diameter to classify larger than 200 kilometers, there are 26 known and named asteroids of this size. NASA feels we probably know 99% of the asteroids larger than 100 kilometers, but of those in the 10 to 100 kilometer range, we have cataloged only about half. There are lots of opportunities left over to discover and name an asteroid. Now, let me see which my arrow's going. There we go. Okay, so how does one get to name an asteroid? There are quite a few rules according to the Minor Planet Center website. I'm not going to put that on the thing, and she says, I almost think discovering the asteroid might be easier. So probably a few hoops to jump through. But in any event, if one does manage to discover an asteroid that has not been named or numbered before, once the discovery is credited to the discoverer, they have 10 years to submit a request for a name, other than the numerical number given when discovered. They must support the request with a small write-up of good reasons. One is not allowed to name an asteroid after their pet, but after a great debate in IAU, asteroid 2309 was allowed to stand as Mr. Spock, who was actually a pet cat, named after the character Spock. So this asteroid you're seeing here is discovered by James B. Gibson on the 16th of August, 1971. Main belt asteroid 2309, aka Mr. Spock, or 1971 QX1, is a 13-mile wide body rotating on its axis every 6.7 hours that orbits 3 astronomical units from the sun every 5.25 years. Currently 17th magnitude in the constellation of Taurus, it's still a viable astrophotographic target for a 10-inch telescope and larger. This is a 2-minute ISO 1600 exposure through a C11 telescope, and that was taken on March the 10th through a DSLR. So that's what you're looking at there. Now, Gibson insisted, since his cat was intelligent, accompanied him on all of his astronomical ventures, remained calm, and had pointy ears, the naming was appropriate.
Okay.
I couldn't find an actual picture of Mr. Spock, but did find Star Trek cats. But the real Mr. Spock has not been left out. On June 2nd, 2015, asteroid 4864, discovered at the European Southern Observatory in 1988, was named Nimoy to honor Leonard Nimoy, who had passed away in February of that year. And so space is just rocking with famous asteroids. Does anyone know the relationship between asteroids 4147, 4148, 4149, and 4150? These cosmic rocks are all between 8 and 16 kilometers in diameter and were discovered in 1983 and 1984 by Brian Skiff and Dr. Ed Bownell in Arizona. Together, they have discovered over 250 asteroids. Now, here's the neat part. If I can get this thing to move. Uh-oh, my picture not going to work. Oh, yes, it will. 1 sec. Sorry. There we go. So here, check this out. You guessed it. This is what these 4 asteroids have in common. They are named for each and every one of the Beatles.
Yes, sir.
So there's one named Lennon, McCartney, Harrison, and Starr with 2 R's. This is probably not the first time an asteroid has been called a star. Also, I'll shrink that down again. And bring this up again. There's also asteroid 8749 is named Beatles. So that's the actual name of that asteroid.
Sure.
Named in 2001, discovered in 1988. You can track it here. And I'm just going to bring this up, see if this works. There it is. And so you can see there. So this is basically the solar set, the inner part of the solar system between us and the asteroid belt. And I'm just going to play this, and then you can see, just like the record, watch the Beatles go round and round. Doesn't that remind you of a turntable from yesteryear, right?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, so space is just rocking. Eric Clapton had an asteroid 4305 named after him in 1990. Our own Mary Lou Whitehorn, who became the first female fellow of RASC in 2015, was surprised in 2007 with the presentation of an asteroid being named after her. She has only ever seen a photograph of it, as it's too small for her to pick up in her backyard telescope, but it is there. She calls it her orbiting tombstone, and so her name will rock on long after the presence of that, and Earth is gone. So let me see if I can do this right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that was this week's
Rosanna's Fun Fact.
Awesome. Hey, you're good at that. You're getting too good at that.
He's been practicing.
I think
He
so.
does that when we're not on live.
Yeah, he does.
We're just gonna get Rosanna to do it now.
So there's a 1991 FM3 named for Freddie Mercury as well.
Oh wow!
Oh, really? Okay.
I
It says-
did not know that.
I did not know that.
I didn't either. Thank you, Lisa.
Fantastic.
Thanks a bunch, Rosanna. That was awesome. Thanks again for your delving into that information for us and bring up the research. They're always interesting. Right now, maybe we'll go to photo submissions first, guys, before we bring on the next three options that we're looking at for presents. Just so I can get these squeezed in. We're at about 8:42. We're still going pretty good for time. That's great.
We're rocking tonight.
We're rocking tonight.
Good
Okay.
rocking.
Let me present my screen. And I'll flip it back to full screen.
Email says Dragon reached orbit insertion, and the first stage landed successfully.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, they're getting good at that though, aren't they?
Oh
Landing
man.
landing those dragons. Wow, it's just those first stages. It's incredible.
Now, if you could land all those Starlinks,
Now you're wishful thinking.
We just got to get an asteroid close enough we can maybe knock them out.
There you go. Okay, let's see what we got for photos this week. Okay, here's one from Rita Kopinetsky. You guys able to see that okay? You're
Yes,
able
I
to see that
can.
Okay? Okay, great. So Rita says, this is from 3 weeks ago. Her brother Samuel sent me the Moon and Mars pic from Melbourne, Australia.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
oh wow,
So that's why it's flipped the other way, because they're upside
Yeah.
downy down there. And also for the Sunday night show, I was wondering if we can have a show about things like Einstein's cross, pulsars, etc., and some of the other interesting phenomena in space and how we see them due to our atmosphere. So we will put together something for. That's great to get suggestions, Rita. Thank you. We take those and put them in our list, and we will do some topics on them. Einstein's cross, I know that can't be seen from here without using an 18-inch telescope. But
Wow.
I'm happy to go to Mauna Kea, Hawaii, and offer a show from there. Anyway, awesome picture. Thanks, Rita, for sending that in, and thanks to Samuel as well.
Yes, awesome.
yeah.
Here we go. We got this one from Lisa Ann Fanning. No, this isn't Lisa's. I'm sorry.
Dan Cote?
Dan Cote.
Dan Cote. Yes, it is. Where's my notes for Dan Cote? I don't have any note. Dan Cote, waning crescent moon from Thursday. There we are.
It was
Oh,
it.
nice. Very nice.
Awesome. Yeah. So I had all my notes all printed off, and I said, I get too many notes around here, so I grabbed a whole pile of like all past shows, and I took them all, tore them all up, threw them in the garbage, and I realized I threw away this week's notes. So I had to go back and print them all over again just about a half an hour ago, or just before the show come on. So
Chris,
what's that?
you should take some notes on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's why I put the little names up here in the corner so I can remember. Like that's Deanna Merrithew Kings.
Hmm.
This one comes from Deanna.
Oh, Moon and Mars.
Moon and Moon and Mars.
Venus.
Venus.
WV.
Sorry, yeah, Moon and Venus, because she said she was out that morning and took a look.
Yeah. Moon and Venus and Spica were all together. It was really nice.
And can you also see the shine?
She says this is
Yeah.
November 13th, 2020 at 7 a.m. in Keswick. At the end of my driveway this morning, she said, just on my cell phone. So yeah, nice
Yeah.
job. And a little bit of earth shine there too, for sure.
Yeah, cool.
Get that earth shine even on the waning moon phase. So
Yep, no, her shine's popping beautiful.
all right, now we got Lisa's. There's Lisa's picture. So Lisa says,
Signet.
I thought of you guys while photographing birds today in Cape May, New Jersey. I'm still laughing from last week, she says. I was literally photographing a warbler when it flew over and I just attempted the shot. When I looked at the photo, I started cracking up. My husband said, "What are you laughing at?" I said, "Cygnus." He had no idea what I was talking about, which made it even funnier. So thanks for that, Lisa. I know Lisa's on here. Good job. Yeah,
Awesome.
another Cygnus
Oh,
shot.
that's great.
Yeah, just what I love to see, Cygnus shots. Yeah.
I'd love to see a Leo now.
Yeah. Let's hope. We can only hope.
Well, that'd be my name.
Thanks a bunch there, Lisa. Olivia Grass, Moon, Venus, and Mercury together. Nice shot.
Yeah, it's
Mercury
very
on
nice.
Friday. That was on Friday morning. So
Looks
I
like
was
she's
doing,
right off the highway, right?
what's that?
She must be right off the highway in Rossay.
Must be, yeah, because that's right over the eastern sky. That was a really pretty. Like I left the door here about 6 o'clock to head over to the west side to catch it because I was going to go up by Martello Tower and see if I could see all three of them. And coming across the bridge, almost went off the road because I was like looking at, wow, like just it was so awesome. And I knew by the time I got there, I was going to just miss Mercury. And sure enough, by the time I get up the hill at Martello Tower, I lost Mercury in the clouds. But was a beautiful view for sure.
Mm.
Yeah, very nice.
Always nice to see planets in the morning sky. We still get a chance to continue to see Mercury for a little while longer. We've got about another week or two for Mercury before it starts to slip back down the other way again, and it gets superior conjunction around, I think it's the end of this month, which means it's going to be on the other side of the sun from us. Venus is still going to be in our morning sky for a while longer yet, so we still got brilliant Venus in our sky. So the second brightest object and the third brightest object in our sky. And there's another capture from Pat Bacon of the Moon and Venus together on Friday morning again. Nice shot, Pat.
Yeah, it's a little bit of cloud makes it quite dramatic, doesn't it?
Mm,
And that little bit of cloud is just blocking out Mercury.
it is, yeah, right there.
Oh,
right
right.
there. That's what happened with me too, yeah. Like, ah! Oh well. Get this shot from Stéphane Picard, Saturn. He shot.
There you go.
Nice capture. This one came from Renat. This was from a couple of weeks ago. She sent it in, but I didn't have any information on it. So I asked her, what was it all about? Because Renat is an artist, and she painted this herself. So she says, regarding this pic done a couple of years ago, it's called Little Red Riding Hood, Fairy Tales Reimagined with Supportive and Caring Little Wolf. An exercise of reimagining cruel fairy tales that are harsh and can leave traumatizing impressions on young innocent minds. True enough. I remember all those ones, yeah, like, Ring Around the Rosie and, what's the one when they fall out of a tree? Yeah, Ashes, we all fall down. Those were kind of creepy nursery rhymes. Then retelling the tale with less scary settings. I have a strong personal aversion and dislike of all things Halloween scariness, ghoulishness, and such. There is enough of the real horror and man-made history in the real world. We should celebrate and enjoy harmony, kindness, and love instead. Same with the moon, a beacon of light in the background there, and hope here, enabling Little Red Riding Hood to find her path. And Renat's website is renatart.com. So she's a local artist, so I always try to make sure we support local.
That's awful nice.
Nice job.
Yeah.
Emil sent this one in just
Yay.
late this evening, but we got it at
Nice.
least. And
Very nice.
of course, that's the planet Neptune. No.
Yeah.
Beautiful capture of Mars. They're captured in the wee hours of October 13th on a night of good seeing. Just processed today, he says. Syrtis Major appears prominently at the top left. Mare Tyrrhenium, I guess it's called, near the center, and Mare Cimmerium to the center right. Elysium Planitia is the pale round patch top right, and contains Elysium Mons, a mountain standing 41,000 feet above its base. So Olympus Mons, the largest mountain in the solar system.
In the solar system, yeah.
41,000 feet high, but they say that it's such a low incline that you would only feel like you're walking up a hill, like maybe just slightly walking up a hill. But you'd walk for a long time to get to the top.
Its physical size is it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I had a slide I was going to show when I was going to do a Mars talk,
Mhm.
and it shows how big and how much space it would take if you plunked it on the Earth. And it's unbelievable. It takes quite a big chunk of the southern portion of the U.S.
Wow.
So the gear he used, he said, was a 10-inch Meade SET, an ASI 224 planetary imaging camera, 2 times Barlow, an atmospheric dispersion corrector. This is the sharpest image of Mars I've ever captured. Well done.
Yeah, awesome job.
Awesome
Yeah,
job.
very nice.
Lots of detail, beautiful color.
Mm.
Nice southern pole there.
Yeah, that's a hard one to get, Mars, because it doesn't really reflect a whole lot of light, I don't think, and it's a lot smaller than Earth too, right? So
Yeah,
quite a distance away, but nice
Nice.
done. Nicely done.
Nice shot.
And of course, anybody who'd like to send in their photos, we love to feature them here on our show. So you can send them to the Sunday Night Astronomy Show. Send them to SundayNightAstronomyShow@gmail.com. That's our address. And again, we love getting them. So thanks everybody for submitting those. It's always a pleasure to show off your photos. And with that, I'll stop presenting. It's back, and we're back.
We're back.
8:52, so we're still doing pretty good for time. So we've got enough time, I guess, to talk about our 3 final items that we wanted to mention tonight for Christmas. We may end up doing another show next week on the same thing. If people are interested, they can just comment here, let us know if they want us to do another Christmas type show. We've got other things that we can show. So maybe you can list it in the comments here on either Facebook or YouTube. Let us know if you'd like us to do a third week of Christmas, a third Christmas episode. Sorry, and we'll take a look. Meantime, while we're waiting for comments to come in for that, let's go again, Mike.
Well, I got one question before we go any further.
Okay.
Is this actually our anniversary show this week?
Yes.
We've been
Yes.
1 full year.
I was going
Yeah.
to mention that, but we are at 1 year anniversary this week.
They haven't kicked us off the internet yet.
What's that?
Happy birthday to us.
Happy anniversary to us. Happy anniversary to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, a 1 year
Yeah.
anniversary. So I guess our
Yeah.
anniversary.
I agree with
Happy
Paul.
anniversary.
We made it. We made it this far.
Yes, happy anniversary, you
Thanks,
guys.
guys.
And thank you all for who's come along so far.
Yes, thanks so much for everybody for following us all this time through all of this. I guess we've kind of moved along quite a ways in the year. From all the glitches that we had a number of times, I still get the odd one here and there, but from all the glitches that we had for the number of times in the beginning, going off air, coming back on air again, bringing up the wrong slides, just couldn't get the mics working, and sound issues and everything else. But here we are, 1 year later.
All kinds of fun.
It's been a lot of fun. It really has been a lot of fun.
All kinds of fun.
It's been great to be able to bring this to everybody out there, and we've still got a long ways to go. It helps fill in our evening time, of course. I mean, we're looking at this year with COVID, and our outreach is way down, of course. But this gives us an opportunity to keep connected with everybody out there until we can go back in person again and join up with everybody again. So we were looking at stopping the show there in the summertime, taking a little bit of a break, but we're kind of glad that we didn't now that we carried right through to this time. So it gave us an opportunity to bring some more experience to it. What do you guys think? How you feeling about the show now?
Well, what I find the funny part was we designed it to be, let's show some astronomy live. So, we'll be out there with our cameras, the roof's open in the observatories, and we'll be doing live shots the whole time. And I think we've only in a year had about 4 different chances to actually do it.
Yeah. So we've had to come out and feature a lot of other topics because we just needed the time to fill it in, right? Yeah. Paul, your thoughts?
Yeah, no, it's been a lot of fun. I didn't know where it was going to go and how it was going to go, and it's just been a ball. I look forward to this every Sunday, and I just can't imagine doing anything else on a Sunday night.
Yeah.
Watch SpaceX launches, maybe.
Well, I think we're putting it out there enough to everybody, letting them know that we are still here after a year, and we are looking forward to our next year. Happy anniversary, guys! We're gonna keep going with this as long as we can, and as long as people out there keep tuning in, and as long as we're having fun. I guess that's the main thing.
That's it.
Yeah.
We did have a couple of people say that. Thanks, Dan, for the happy anniversary. Lisa, Ann, and Alan Burgess said that they would definitely like some more Christmas stuff next week. So
Great. Okay. And looks like we're looking the same way on YouTube. So, yeah, we will continue with another Christmas show then again next week. We've only shown, I guess, really 3, 6, 9. This will be 12 items so far anyway. And we still got some time for people to put their orders in for Christmas. So we will continue on with another Christmas show. We enjoy that kind of stuff. We like showing off gear and passing on our thoughts on equipment. So hopefully we'll be able to save you from some of the mistakes that we made. And we made a lot of them. I know this guy right here has made a whole lot of mistakes. It's cost me big dollars. Yeah. These two guys right here. Get my camera the right way.
Better than Hollywood Squares. Now we're showing our age. They're going, what?
Awesome. Well, we got to keep the laughs going, guys. Anyway, okay. Let's take a look now at what we got to offer next, Mike. Well, let's have a look here. Alan says, think this is the best astronomy show on the net. Hey, thanks, Alan. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
You probably don't look around at a whole lot of stuff.
that's okay.
Thumbs up. We like it. Yeah. Big hands.
Continuing on, I got a gift here that I thought was a great idea, but unfortunately, I don't know if they're sold on the market anymore, which is kind of disappointing. But what they were, and it was put out by Bozma, and I'm an eBay shopper, and I've always shopped on eBay because, I find better prices, and I only wait 6 months to get it, but it's like Christmas every day. These were a 50 millimeter solar film cover for your binoculars. They stretch and go over a set of binoculars or over a 50 millimeter finder scope. They were made by a company called Bosma, B-O-S-M-A. They actually have batter solar film in them. And they were made to put over and take off and stretch and hold tight. So once that's on your binoculars, you cannot pull it off and they won't fall off or knock off. But it was made to fit over your 10 by 50 or 7 by 50 binoculars. And they, obviously come in a pair because, one wouldn't do you any good. You go through one and burn your eye in the other.
And then you flip eyeballs.
They do come as a pair. They were sold, believe it or not, for $23. Wow. They're actually, I thought maybe they would be not very durable, but these are extremely durable. These have gone to every star party I've gone to, pulled them over my binoculars, and I haven't frayed the edges or split or cut or broke them yet. So... and like I said, they were on for $23. They were sold by eBay and Amazon and that whole group, Alabd or whatever that name is for that other place. But I haven't seen them on there. What they've done is the company has replaced them with hard ones that are 50 millimeter, and it's a padded inside and they slide on. But I really, really, really like the idea of these rubber ones. And I have when I'm doing solar viewing and my guide scope. I've actually put that over my guide scope, and so I have 2 cameras now on the sun when I'm trying to get a shot.
Nice.
And of course the guide scope's going to zoom it in because I'm using a smaller chip camera, but I get basically a wide field and a real close field view just by putting that over the end, and it's no different than putting any other solar filter over the end of my 50 millimeter guide scope.
Awesome.
So they were available. I apologize. I don't know if they're still available out there. I can't find them anymore. But what an interesting little pair of things to get your hands on for the price of $25.
Yeah.
What's on the inside, Mike?
What's that?
On the inside, what's the paper mounted to? Is it just a plastic disc?
Cardboard that the paper's mounted on.
Okay, so then if that got perforated, you could just replace it.
Just replace it. Yeah, cut it out, pop a new one in. And it sits inside a whole rubber seal in there that you can just peel back and take the whole thing out. But, for something that you wouldn't think about, that's the kind of stuff I come across and go, oh, I like that because it's different. It's completely different from other astronomy stuff out there. And everybody knows I like different stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Awesome.
so that's a cool little set. They gave me a nice little box. And protect
cool.
them, and there's a pair of binocular solar filters for you. So I'm sure they'll be back on the market.
So in the meantime, you're going to be selling those, Mike, or?
Well, the price is right for everything.
So tell us about what's happening in the background there.
These 2 are keeping guard on me. I got slapped in the head a couple of times here when I was trying to
Watch the show. You were trying to watch the launch.
every show they've been getting closer and closer.
Notice
Next
that.
week, I'm sitting in the chair here and
Sitting in
taking
your
my place.
Thanks, Mike.
The big guy moved towards the window to scare the kids on the street.
Yeah,
That
I noticed
works.
he went back a little further there.
Yeah. Now he's right in the window. He turned around and looked.
Awesome. All right, Paulie, you're up next, I guess, buddy.
All right. I was going to show one thing, but I'm going to show another instead.
Okay.
If that makes any sense.
I did not know that.
Good.
I did not. Well, what I was going to show, I'm not.
He's your hat. Okay.
Something else instead.
Well,
Okay.
he's not Montreal this time.
What I want to show is an optic cleaning kit. Now, I showed this before a few episodes back, but I actually used it and I showed people how to clean a telescope. But this optical cleaning kit isn't just for telescopes. You can use it on binoculars. You can use it on spotting scopes. You can use it on camera lenses. You can use it on anything. But once you start in the astronomy hobby, you're going to be having glass surfaces. It's just that simple. Your eyepieces have glass surfaces. Binoculars have glass surfaces. Telescopes, all of those things. Now, this isn't designed for a reflector type of telescope. That is something that it's a totally different clean. So just put that aside. So any Dobsonian telescope or reflector type of telescope, you won't be using this on, but this is good for refractors and also good for Schmidt-Cassegrains that have the lenses on the front. Anyway, so what you get in one of these kits, and I got this one, typically they go anywhere from $25 to $35. This one is $34.95. I don't know if I'm backwards or not on that, but, and on the inside you get, first of all, it's in a nice little kit. So it fits in your compartment of your travel stuff quite nicely. First thing you get with it is a little spray, little air spray control thing. And all you do, of course, is like any air controller, you just push the button, the air blows out. The only thing I recommend highly when you use any kind of air, compressed air for cleaning, is to actually hold it still, blast it a couple of times because you will get some moisture come out of it at the very beginning. And then once that's out, then you're fine. Don't move it around like this when you're blasting. Just hold it in place. Move the optic around, because that way there, once you blast it out, that moisture, as long as you hold it up straight and do this, you won't get any moisture until it sits for a little while and that kind of stuff again. Anyway, just something to let you know when you're using aerosols. Anyway, so you get one of those with it. You get some cleaning fluid with it, which you'll need to do the cleaning on your optics. You'll get one of these little brushes, and these are fantastic. And this is actually a camel hair brush. If you happen to have somebody in your family who does a lot of makeup, they're probably going to have maybe a new one they haven't used yet, but even those makeup brushes that are made with camel hair, you can use those too. Not after they've had makeup on them, of course, but this kind of a brush here is perfect. Basically, what you do is you take out your bellows first, which is one of these little guys here, or that little aerosol can, and blow the air off or blow the dust off. And then this is just designed just to brush away the glass. And then once you're done with it, just retract it and you put it away, and that's all set and ready to go. And the only other thing you get in here, actually there's two things. One thing, this kit I've already used up, but you also get some cleaning paper. So this paper is designed specifically for cleaning glass, like lenses that have special coatings. And the reason that you need to use these special papers is because unlike glass that you clean with Windex, all optics, good optics, have coatings on them. And you don't want to damage the coatings. And that's why you have to be very careful when you're cleaning the optics. And that's why they make specific papers, cleaners, Q-tips and all that kind of stuff for your optics. So anyway, so you get that, plus they give you, in this particular kit, I think there was about 10 Q-tips. So basically everything that you need to clean your eyepieces, to clean your glass on your binoculars and all that other stuff. And it's all in a nice little canister, and what a beautiful little thing to pop under the Christmas tree for somebody this year. Yeah.
Awesome. Great, Paul. That is a very practical gift for sure.
Yeah.
All righty.
And never shine your light down your.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. True enough.
Yes, if you want to have a heart attack, take your flashlight and shine it right down on your optics.
On your mirror.
And
Yeah.
you're going to be just like, oh!
Yeah. True enough. We've all done it, and we've all panicked, but we know we're not supposed to, because it takes an awful lot of dirt. We'll have to bring that picture up sometime, Paul. That one that you had of the glass, the broken glass, and
Oh yeah, absolutely.
what you're able to shoot through it. We should talk about that soon.
Yeah.
The topic I'm going to talk about is going to be just a little bit larger item, and it's only because I really like these guys, and these guys know I really like this telescope. So it's something that I think about for a beginner. When I talk about beginner stuff, we are talking mostly about stuff here for beginners, accessories for beginners as well. I'll move my sand out of the way. Put it down here out of the way for now, a moment. But I'm just going to show this Dobsonian telescope here. I'm just going to pin myself there so I can get a chance to go up on the screen. And anybody who knows me anyway probably knows that I do look at this telescope fairly often. The camera up a little higher. No, too high. Let's drop it down this way. Maybe come over this way a bit. Here, how's that?
Good.
Close enough. A little bit lower and I'll sit down. How's that one? Yeah, like that. So this is the tabletop Dobsonian reflector telescope. It's called the Orion Star Blast 4.5. It doesn't look like much of a telescope, but I'm telling you, it's a nice little package for a beginner and for an intermediate. If you're looking for a very quick grab and go type telescope, something portable, good for all ages. I'm sitting in a chair right now beside a table, and they're kind of suited for a table, but they can also be mounted to a tripod. This one may not have it does have a bolt down through the center, but it does have 3 feet on it. And there's a guy out there called Eyes on the Sky, David Fuller. He's on YouTube. I've watched a lot of his videos, and he has actually built a small tripod for this to set on. So he takes a piece of half-inch plywood, about 18 inches or so in diameter, and he has 3 2x4s with 3 hinges on it. It's amazing little setup. It's so easy to put together, to take apart, and to throw in your vehicle. So, and you can make it the height that you want as well. So whatever height your child happens to be, or yourself, if you're going to use it for yourself. But I use this quite a bit on a small little camp table that I bought from Canadian Tire. Actually, it's just about the right height, and I have an adjustable chair, which I might bring up next week, talking about observing chairs. An adjustable chair that will ride up and down, so I can have it to whatever height I like. But what I like about this little scope is the fact that it's a good size mirror. It's a 4.5-inch reflector telescope. Here we go. So there we are. That's the mirror down the bottom. This is the secondary up here at the front. So the light goes down, hits that mirror at the back. It's concave in shape. It focuses all the light back up again to the small secondary mirror and then shoots it out here to the eyeball, or this is where your eyepiece goes in. So it has a nice clutch setup on it. If you want to collimate the telescope, when it goes out of focus, it's easily collimated on the back side here. What we're trying to do is make sure that the primary mirror is looking at the small secondary mirror right on the button, so that they're looking at each other properly. And there are lots of adjustment knobs on the back here. 3 of them actually adjust the mirror, and the other 3 are ones that lock it in place so it can't move afterwards. Has a clutch affair on it, or a release, I should say, a friction release, so it can make it move around fairly smoothly. You can tighten it up, of course. Little eyepiece rack on it for 3 eyepieces, 1.25 eyepieces. That's what it accepts. Has an Orion Easy Finder 2, which is your red dot finder that comes with it. You can change that out if you like, but I find this one pretty adequate for the job itself. If you want to rotate the tube, you just loosen it up a little bit. It'll rotate back and forth, and it'll move up and down as well if you don't find that it's balanced properly. The focuser is pretty smooth. It's not a great, it's not a very expensive focuser, but it works great for me. I've got a range of 1.5 or 1.25 eyepieces that I use with it. The focal length, I think, is around, diameter is 130 millimeter. Just a second here, I'll read it. Focal length is 450. It's an f4 telescope. So it's going to give you a wide field view. So if you want to get the moon, the whole moon, you're going to get the whole moon in the shot here in a 25 millimeter eyepiece. Take it down to a 10, you're going to get closer. But what I do, when I do a lot of my live feeds, actually I've been using this for live feeds, and I just attach my cell phone to the face of it here with the Celestron adapter, and away I go. Now remember, this is not going to track across the sky. It's a manual telescope, but what a manual telescope does for you as a beginner is that it helps you to learn the sky. We can all find the moon, we can find the sun, we can find the moon. I don't suggest you use any, if you get an eyepiece that has a sun filter attached to it, throw it away. Always put your filter on the front of your telescope. That's like the solar filter that Mike was talking about, or Paul was talking about, the part that you can make one of your own. But anyway, you can all find the moon. Right now, Jupiter and Saturn are in our southwestern sky right now. So Jupiter's the brightest object that we see in our evening sky right now. Right to the left of that, about width of your fist, even closer than that now, is Saturn. So there are 2 planets right there. The morning sky has Venus and Mercury in it. There's 2 more. And then once you start finding your way around a few of the constellations with a nice star map, you start to learn where things are in the sky. We know where the Big Dipper is. Can you find the Little Dipper? Can you find Cassiopeia? Can you find the big square of Pegasus with Andromeda Galaxy out beside it? This would give you a very nice image of the Pleiades star cluster, the Orion Nebula, the Andromeda Galaxy, all kinds of things like that that are wide field are going to be revealed very nicely in this little scope. The good thing about this too is that it folds down out of the way like this, and here's a handle built right into it. So there you go. Hey, I'm in the house and I look outside. Oh, there's the moon. You know, let's take a quick look at the moon. So out I go, set up on a little table, and away I go, and I'm looking at the moon within a couple of minutes. Because once I get my finder scope lined up to my eyepiece, that's all I need to do. And if I'm only bringing it in and out from the house, for instance, my finder scope and eyepiece are probably going to be lined up most time anyway. So if I just have 10 minutes or 15 minutes to take a quick look, and this is what you call a real grab and go type telescope. So I'm really impressed with it. And there are other ones like this too. It's called a tabletop Dobsonian telescope if you're looking for it. This one's called the Orion Star Blast 4.5. So it's a 4.5-inch mirror, which is really a nice size. Not too big, but gives you enough of sky to be able to give a real nice view of the moon, Jupiter and its moons, the Orion Nebula again, the double cluster, things like that that are wider field of view. I don't know if there's any questions on that particular object, but I'm going to come back here to show you what I looked at for prices. Now, price-wise, I'll bring that up, bring my chair back. Looking around for a nice, comfortable chair, but I think I'll get to that soon. Okay, let me get out of this full mode here, unpin myself, and I think I can bring up a couple of sites where I saw it. So here's another one. This is a smaller version. This is called the Eclipse View. Meade puts this one out. It's the 82 millimeter reflecting telescope. This one, I believe, comes with a solar filter as well. Yeah, because it's called Eclipse View. So it does come with a solar filter that fits over the front of the telescope again, of course. And you can take the solar filter off and use it in the evening sky. 82 millimeters is not a very large lens, but it's great for a child if you're talking about somebody from, say, 5 to 8 or 9 years old. That certainly get them around to find where things are in the sky and how to use the telescope. They're very simple. They move up and down and back and forth. And these were designed by a guy by the name of John Dobson. That's why it's called a Dobsonian reflector. But he wanted a very simple design to be able to pass on to other people. And this really does force you to learn the night sky. So I think they're excellent for beginners. I can't say enough about a manual telescope, and I can't say enough about a Dobsonian telescope for beginners, because also you're not spending all your money on electronics in this case. You're spending it on the actual optics and the quality of the tube. So that's what we're kind of interested in too. We want to get the largest mirror or the largest lens for the least amount of money. So here's one from Maison de l'Astronomie in Montreal. He's got them on for $299.95. You're going to pay shipping on top of that, because I think it's $500 or over. It'll give you free shipping, but you're still looking at maybe $30 to get it shipped to New Brunswick. But there's a typical one there. And I saw another one. I mean, here's the Amazon one, I guess. Bring up the Amazon as well. So there's Amazon. Ships in 2 to 3 days. $299 Canadian plus $60 shipping. So how that breaks down is just in a bunch of boxes, but it all comes pre-assembled. It comes with a couple of eyepieces. There are videos as well. If you want to look them up on YouTube, you can see reviews on them. But I'm really convinced that this little scope here is great for a beginner, no matter what age you are. And they have a good resale value as well, because they are so portable. And again, if you just have a 15 or 20 minutes and you want to take a quick peek at something out in the night sky, it's excellent to be able to just grab that by the handle and away you go. Set it up on a small camp table, set it up on a picnic table, something like that. And it'll give you a nice view of most celestial objects that you're concerned about. So,
Hey, Chris, let me share a picture here for you.
absolutely. Let me get this out of the way. Hang on, I'll just close this mic.
It should come up. And it shows
Let me close this
Buddy
first
with-
of all. One second.
Buddy with
There you go.
Oops, sorry.
There he is. Thank you. Yeah,
a stool or a mount.
that's him right there. Yeah, that's
Use it outside, whatever you like.
there you go. And he's got the plans for that right on the site too. So you can go to his actual website, and he has a link there for plans to build that. So it's just 3 pieces of 2x4, a small threaded rod in the center, and he actually made 3 small holes with a hole saw for the feet to sit into. But very simple. He made it, the height that he found comfortable for himself, and you can do that as well for a child or whatever. So I can have a very well made, all around good beginner telescope. To me, this is what I recommend. I always recommend a Dobsonian. These guys know that, because I recommend people learn the night sky first. If you can't afford a $500 or $600 or $700 telescope, keep your money for a little while. Hang on to it. There are used ones that come up. Dobsonian reflector telescopes come up. An 8-inch one comes up for $300 or $400 every once in a while. You get them. People get in the hobby. That's not their thing, so they decide to get out of it, and they sell for half price or whatever. And again, they're usually in pretty good shape because they just kind of sit in one spot. They don't move around much. So the optics are usually in good shape. The scopes themselves are in good shape, and you get some pretty good buys. But a Dobsonian telescope is going to give you the largest mirror for the least amount of money. And the bigger the mirror, the brighter your object is going to be, so you'll be able to see things that are farther away. That's the idea of large mirrors. Nothing about magnification. Forget about magnification when you're buying telescopes. It doesn't matter. You're more concerned about your optics themselves and how much light they can gather. They call this a light bucket because it is basically a bucket that picks up a lot of light. The larger the mirror, again, the more light it's going to collect. But this is a nice little package to take along with you as a portable type package. And I'll never be convinced that anything but a Dobsonian is best for a beginner. I'm sold on them. When you buy equatorial, like a lot of telescopes come with equatorial mounts, manual mounts that are equatorial design. I think they're the stupidest thing that they could introduce to anybody as a beginner because they are just terrible. They're completely terrible. Unless you've got a motorized mount, you're trying to use a manual mount. Yeah, you want to learn how to use an EQ mount, great, but beginners don't want to learn that. Beginners get frustrated. You'll find, I'm sure there are thousands of them across North America stuck in closets everywhere across North America because they bought one of these with an EQ mount on it and it was rickety and rackety and they didn't know how to use the mount itself and it tossed in the closet. That was it. I take all of those tubes and I put them on a Dobsonian mount and every one of them would be out there right now being used. There's no doubt about it. So start out with a Dobsonian mount, start out with something simple, learn the night sky first, then step up to something that's going to get you in the fact. Once you start to know where things are, when you hit go to on your telescope, you're going to know it's going in the right direction, first of all. And don't even think about astrophotography. Forget all of that. Take a picture with your cell phone for now. Right, Paul? Is it expensive to get involved in astrophotography, Paul?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. McDonald's.
How much you pay for your phone?
Yeah. All right, that's my spiel. It's always my spiel about telescopes. These guys have heard this story so many times, but it's one I keep preaching to anybody who asks me about a telescope, and I get lots of questions about telescopes, and I always reply with this guy. So keep an eye. There's another one out as well. Skywatcher has one. It's 4.5 inch as well, around $299. It actually collapses. And it's another nice deal. But I recommend tabletop if you can't get the larger one for $500, $600, $700, $800, $300 plus tax and shipping, and away you go. And they'll resell for pretty well the same price because they're popular. Okay, I guess we're all caught up, folks. So that was our anniversary show. And we'd like to say thank you again to everybody for joining back on. You guys got any comments before we sign off here? I'll bring up my news, just like I'm a newsman, look.
Oh, the papers you didn't throw away.
Yeah. Well, the papers that were printed twice. You know how much ink I go through on that damn printer? Anyway, okay, so in closing tonight, folks, again, our special thanks again for your continued support over the last year. We hope you've enjoyed tonight's material, and we'll be continuing with the topic again next week then on purchases for Christmas. We've got lots of other things to share with you, all kinds of gifts, all kinds of presents. And thanks again to Rosanna, of course, for her continued contributions to our show. We really appreciate it. And remember, we do love getting your photos, so send them into SundayNightAstronomyShow@gmail.com, and we'll be happy to include them in our next broadcast. We're also looking for suggestions for topics for future shows. We have got a few now, which is great because we like material because we don't get any clear nights. Like Mike says, 97% of our evenings so far have been cloudy. So we need material. We need stuff to talk about. So if you have anything you'd like us to discuss in a future episode, just please send your request to the same address, SundayNightAstronomyShow@gmail.com, and we'll do our best to make it happen for you. We also ask that if you enjoyed our content here tonight and you joined us from YouTube, please consider giving us a like and subscribing to our channel. And please let your family and friends know as well that we are here every Sunday night at the same time to help educate and entertain you with our thoughts on the night sky. So for now then, from Mike and Paul and I on our anniversary show, stay safe, everyone. We wish you all clear skies, and we hope to see you again here next week for our next Christmas show. And as we like to say, guys, keep your scopes pointed up.
Oh, yeah.
Big hands. And how about a chicken coop salute for all of us for our 1 year anniversary? Perfect.
Absolutely.
Have a great week, everybody. Thanks very much for joining us. Good night.